It's now time for the Billy C. Show, part of the BillyCBoxing.com network.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C. Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero. It's time for the Billy C. Show. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you're watching, whenever you're listening. I hope you're doing okay today. Today's show is being brought to us in part by, come on, you know, anybody who's been watching this show for a long time, you know, yeah, it's been brought to us in part by my book, Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Pedestal and Plenty is available right now where all good books are sold. And you can get a copy of this book right now while you're watching or listening to this very show. Just visit Amazon.com. Or, hey, listen, if you want to get a signed copy, just drop me an email, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by BillyCBoxing.com. Check it out. Or the latest and greatest news and some results from fights that you might not be hearing about on the mainstream boxing website. So check that out. Plus, you can get updates on this show. And today's show is being brought to us in part by our Billy C., Mike Tyson, Jake Paul pre-fight show, which we're going to be doing tomorrow, kicking off at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I'll get to it a little bit later, but man, I got a great lineup of guests that are coming on. Oliver McCall, former world heavyweight champion, he's going to be joining us, giving us his thoughts. Randall the KO King Bailey, he's going to be stopping by and giving us his thoughts. Jimmy Adams, a boxing promoter with the very successful Country Box series, who's joining us. Aaron Snowell, my man, Carl King, and of course, John Muskiunas from Don King Productions and LDL TV. So that's happening tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern right here. But first, coming up on the show, I got an update that I know my man Augie from Riverhead, Long Island is going to love about the Ring Magazine. We also are going to break down and give you a prediction on the big fight this weekend. No, not the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight, but there's a World Cruiserweight title that's taking place on Saturday. Gilberto Ramirez going up against Chris Billiam Smith. What a great matchup that is. I'll be talking about that a little bit later. And also, don't forget on tomorrow's show, we will be doing the whole breakdown. But today, I will give you my my thoughts on the Tyson and Paul fight. But first, let's get some fight results. This past week, Boots Ennis fought again. This time he fought Karen Chukazan. I probably just murdered his name. He won by unanimous decision, 119, 107, 117, 109, 116, 110. He did drop Chukazan in the fight. But I wasn't impressed, man. I'm just not impressed with Boots. I'm sorry. He doesn't seem to possess a lot of power. He's calling out Terrence Crawford. I don't think he stands a chance with Terrence Crawford. I really don't. I'm just not impressed with him. Okay. I'm trying, but he had the perfect opponent to look good against, and he didn't. But I'll tell you who did look good. The co-main event on that show, WBC flyweight champ Jesse Bam Rodriguez took care of his opponent, Pedro Guerrera, in the third round with a stoppage, 247 of the third round. And I'm going to mention this. Ray Ford, he improved to 16-1 with a draw when he returned to action and won a fight, unanimous decision over Orlando Gonzalez, 99-88, 100-88 twice with the way the judges scored that one. Also, up in Montreal, in old Canada, we had a fight ended in the 5th round with Olesis Iglesias improved to 13-0 with 12 knockouts when he stopped Pedro Ananov, giving him his first loss. And also the two-time world title challenger Stephen Bang Bang Butler improved to 35-5. You like that, right? 35-1 when he knocked out Fernando Faris in the first round. One other fight I want to mention real quick, actually two other things. And then it's the return of the main man himself, Alex Papali. He's going to be joining us. I know he's chomping at the bit to come back. And all those kids he teaches, I'm trying to get him to quit school so Alex can spend some more time. No, kids, don't do that. I'm only kidding. Okay, don't stay in school. Lightweight Abraham Montoya improved to 23 wins, 6 losses, and a draw when he won a 10-round split decision over Jojo Diaz, who drops to 33-7. Diaz now has lost 6 of his 7 fights. Look, I loved Jojo Diaz, but I think it's over, man. I can't believe how far Jojo Diaz has fallen into the abyss of boxing. I feel bad because he's a great kid, but I think he should start considering doing something else. One last thing I want to mention. 2 weeks ago, I was ringside at the beautiful Turning Stone Resort and Casino for the rematch of Oshaki Foster against Robinson Conceal. The fight was the same as the first. It was like, I got to admit, I thought the fight was boring. Foster regained his title, 115, 113. Was twice for him, and one judge had a 115, 113 for Consejo. I was hoping, we were promised fireworks, but we got fireworks on the rest of the card. 2 fights I wanted to bring up. Abraham Nova, which is kind of a local guy from where I am right now, about an hour south out of Albany. Everybody was looking forward to his return. I had a hard time staying awake watching this cat fight. He fought Humberto Galindo, and the fight ended up in a split draw. And I got news for you. Galindo won that fight, in my opinion. The hometown favorite. He got the hometown nod on the scorecards, I think. But another fight I wanted to mention was in the heavyweight division. Ali Felice improved to 4-0 with 3 knockouts when he stopped Rashid Coulter in their fight in the second round, 1 minute and 34 seconds. Coulter drops to 5-5. I bring up this fight for really personal reasons. Ali Felice is the son of Fernelli Felice, and Fernelli Felice is actually the first fighter that I ever got involved with as a pro. So I was real glad I got to see him. We got to chat, and hopefully we can get him on the show soon. But speaking about getting on the show, joining me right now, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Alex Papali. What's up, brother?
Hello, Billy C. How are you?
I'm not hearing you, bro. Oh, maybe it's my end. Hold on. Go ahead.
Hello, Billy C.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, man? I think I'm having trouble, but are you an influencer now?
I am an influencer. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm not getting your sound, bro.
All right, let me leave the studio and jump back in.
Yeah, I see your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying.
How about now? Yeah. Can you hear me?
No, I can't. Right. Yeah, I okay. Well, we just lost him. Maybe he's going to call back. But in any event, that's frustrating. I just give a shout out to everybody in the chat room. We got a Mateo. He's got. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. My man Travis, the What's Next Kid Smith, Coach is in there. Joel. Let's try it again.
Hello, Billy C.
I'm having. Jeez, I don't know. Just keep talking for a minute.
Oh, okay. So if first of all, it's just great to be back. Great to see you.
Yeah, you're not coming over, man. Okay, that's. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. You sure you're not muted on your end?
When I did the test.
Yeah, I'm not getting any sound from you, brother. I thought it was on me, but it's not. So I don't know. Yeah,
Test, 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 test.
I'm not hearing a word you're saying, but
Weird.
you're looking good. I will tell you that you're looking good.
Weird.
So, yeah,
Hello.
I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Hello.
Yep, nope, nope. And even it's not coming over on my other piece either.
Wow.
Yeah, so I maybe reboot and try it again.
Okay.
All right.
We'll do.
My man Alex is going to reboot and try it again. Some big news I wanted to talk about. And if you missed it, if you're just tuning in right now, tomorrow we're going to be doing. Oh, Coach, you heard him fine over on your end? Huh. Well, then maybe it is my end. Probably is. Gonna have to correct that. But some big news. If you're just tuning in, tomorrow we're doing a pre Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, and I got some great guests coming on. Oliver McCall, Randall Bailey, Jimmy Adams, a boxing promoter from Country Box Series, Aaron Snowell, Carl King, and John Musciunas. All are going to join us, and we're going to be talking about that. We're going to give Alex another shot. Go ahead, Alex.
Hello. Can you hear me?
All right. I guess they're hearing you. I'm not. So why don't you talk, and let me see if I can't fix this on my end. And ladies and gentlemen, I present you the man, the myth, the legend himself, Alex Papali.
Hello, Billy C. It's great to see you. Great to be back. Yes, I have this thing that takes up a lot of my time. It's called job. And it's tough because they expect you to be there. But and just the hours just don't work out that I could come on and be with you.
Yeah, Alex, I must be having some issues on this end because they can hear you, but I can't, and it's not being recorded on my other end. So, sorry.
What do you want to do?
I got all these people trying to help me here, but no, he's not muted. It seems like it's a hardware issue on my side, but I apologize, Alex. And I know it's been a hard time getting your ass on this show, but now that you're on here,
God. I watched so many Jake Paul fights.
that let me just try one thing here. Hopefully that'll help. Yeah,
Hello, Billy C.
I can't help you, bro. I'm gonna have to get Alex back on, and I apologize for that. And Alex, I'll give you a shout later, my man.
Sounds good.
Sorry. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, my fault on here. I apologize for that. But some big news coming out of well, I guess Saudi Arabia. The Ring magazine was just sold. It's 100% done deal. And Turki Al-Rashid is now the owner of the Ring magazine. And I say this because I've been talking with my man Augie from Riverhead, Long Island, a lot about this, and he was real bummed about the fact that we have lost that magazine. But here's a quote from Turki Al-Rashid. He said, "I finalized the deal. am acquiring the Ring magazine 100%, and I want to make a few things clear. The print version of the magazine will return immediately after." Coach is funny. He says Alex is our new silent partner. Will return immediately after a 2-year hiatus. It'll be available in the United States and UK markets. The magazine will fully be independent. Brilliant writers focusing on every aspect of the sport of boxing. Will restore the legacy of the Ring rankings to its old mechanism with a fully independent panel that lives up to the Ring magazine's golden era. We will continue to raise the prestige of the Ring titles, and the plans are already underway to have yearly extravagant award ceremonies to celebrate the very best in the boxing industry. In the coming weeks, we intend to debut a brand new state-of-the-art website and mobile app. We're already in development for a line of Ring Magazine merchandise, and the Ring Magazine will be fully independent and without involvement from Riot season. And by the way, he also wanted to make sure that everybody knows that there'll be a digital and print version. So I think that's good for the magazine and for all the fans that really wanted that to come back. I, for one, and like I was saying to my man Augie, there's some big challenges with the magazine, any magazine in today's world, and that is the fact that the magazine, by the time you go to print with a magazine, so let's say I'm covering a fight, I'm ringside, and I cover a fight, and I get that right over to Ring Magazine, the results over to Ring Magazine. It was a big fight, let's say, and I get them over that night, okay? The time that it takes to put that into a magazine, photos, quotes, all the crap that goes into that, and then edited and inspected and all that happy stuff, and then print and then get it to your distributors, and then the distributors. I mean, that was one of my big hangups with the Ring magazine, as technology started getting better, because, first of all, you're buying a magazine, whether you're getting it delivered to your house, you're buying it off the stand, in June, you're buying September's issue, and it's already outdated. All the fight results that are in there have already taken place. And with, with all of the stuff that we have now, we know the results. I'm not so sure. Now, the one thing I did always enjoy about the Ring magazine was the quality of the print, the pages and stuff, photos and everything else, which, and I'm an old man, so I like holding the magazine in my hand, rather than, I know all that information is available online, but anyway, that's some big news, and I'm happy that it happened. Coach is saying they want it for the rankings. Yeah, well, I mean, as long as the rankings are done in a non-biased way, I'm cool with that. But anytime somebody owns the rankings, it happened when Golden Boy got it. All of a sudden, you start seeing Golden Boy's fighters at in the main spots. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But in any event, some more news here. Jaime Munguia, 44 wins, 1 loss, 35 wins coming by knockout. His only loss coming at the hands of Canelo Alvarez. Is going to be back in the ring on December 14th. He's going to be performing in Tijuana, his hometown. He's going up against Bruno Suras, who's 25 wins, no losses, and a couple of draws with only 4 knockouts. This is obviously a homecoming match for Munguia. And he said, and I quote, "I'm very happy to be back in the ring, and above all, to be back in Tijuana. This year has been full of hard work and great fights, which has only motivated me to keep me pushing forward. I want to give Tijuana a great night of boxing and thank everyone there for always being by my side and supporting me. It won't be easy, but we're confident and we'll come out. We're confident that we'll come out on top." And then, of course, Viva ha Mexico. Viva a la, you know what they say. All right. There's a big fight on Saturday. And it's going to be probably the most competitive fight of the weekend. Gilberto Ramirez, 46 wins, 1 loss, 30 of his wins coming by knockout. He's currently the WBA World Cruiserweight Champion. He's taking on Chris Billam Smith, who's another top guy, and he's a WBO World Cruiserweight Champion. And these two cats are going to be fighting each other. I love this fight. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know who to pick. I normally give a prediction on these fights, but I don't have one. I can just break it down. I mean, when you look at Ramirez, 46-1 with 30 knockouts, his only loss to Dimitri Bivol in the light heavyweight division. That was in 2022. He's 33 years old, a year younger than his opponent. He's got 47 fights under his belt, 26 more than Billum Smith. He's got 149 more rounds as a pro. They both have a similar knockout ratio. He's a southpaw. Billum Smith is an orthodox fighter. As far as height and reach, it's about the same. Ramirez's best wins at light heavyweight, 2021 against Sullivan Barrera, fourth round stoppage. 2021, a 10th round stoppage over Uniski Gonzalez. And in 2022, he had a fourth round stoppage over Dominic Purcell. At cruiserweight, his best two fights was one in 2023, a 10-round decision over Joe Smith Jr., and in his last fight, a 12-round decision over Arsen Gulamarian in that fight. Now, he steps in the ring with Chris Billum Smith, who, like I said, is 1 year older at 34. His record, 20 wins, 1 loss, 13 of his wins coming by knockout. He's ranked number 2 in the world by the computer. So you got number 1 against number 2. He's a WBO champ. When I look at this guy's record, his last 5 fights were all against tough opposition. 2022 over Isaac Chamberlain. Also in 2022, he got a 5th round stoppage over Armand Hoxhaj. In 2023, a majority decision win over Lawrence Oakley, where he won his title. And also in 2023, an 8th round stoppage over Matuz Masternik. And in 2024, a 12-round decision over Richard Ryakpuri in that one. So it's a toss-up fight. I mean, I know Gilberto Ramirez is more popular here in the States than Chris Billum Smith, but I don't know. I've been supporting all these British fighters, and if somebody, I don't know. I can't pick this fight. I think that Billum Smith might have a slight edge because he's been at the cruiserweight division a little longer. But all I could say is watch the fight. And speaking about watching the fights, tomorrow, like I said, we're going to do a pre-fight show. But my initial thoughts on the Tyson Paul fight are simple. It's a circus. All right. It's a circus. It's a WWE type event. But I will say this, it's getting a lot of discussion with people that aren't really boxing fans. I'll give you an example. I listen to Sirius XM all the time, and I was listening to a channel on there, Classic Vinyl actually, and the DJ, she comes on and she starts talking about this fight, and she was watching it through Netflix, the pre-fight stuff that they're doing, those following each of the fighters around, and she was saying how much she wanted to watch it and how scary Mike was. And all right, here's a dude that's pushing 60, right? He's 58 years old. And like I said, we'll be talking about this in depth tomorrow, but he hasn't fought in 19 years, a real fight in 19 years, almost 20. And that fight was his knockout loss at the hands of a not so great fighter in Kevin McBride. So you look at that, and he did have that fight with Roy Jones Jr., but as we all found out, it was, they weren't allowed to hit in the head, and it wasn't a real fight. Well, now this is a real fight. It's happening. The Texas Athletic Commission has approved it. It will be going on their records, but there are some little flags. Number one, they're fighting 2-minute rounds instead of 3. Number 2, they're only fighting 8 rounds. So it's 8 2-minute rounds. The other thing is they're fighting with 14-ounce gloves, which are pretty big, but it is what it is. Now, in the beginning of this, when they first announced it, I happened to have caught a couple of the press conferences or whatever, and it looked like it was a big fun fest for Mike Tyson. He was smiling and laughing, and they told him to push Jake, and he pushed him a little, and they were laughing. They looked like more like drinking buddies than anything, or maybe smoking buddies. I don't know. But the final press conference was yesterday, and or maybe it was yesterday, I think. And I saw some footage of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I'll tell you what, Mike Tyson has a pretty serious look on his face. Jake Paul is talking smack and is the main reason why he's the best guy everybody loves to hate. The thing is that even at 58 years old, so the argument here is Jake Paul a legitimate fighter? I'm going to talk in depth about that tomorrow with my colleagues who are going to be on this show. But make no mistake, this is a YouTube influencer who has been very successful financially, and he started using boxing as a tool. He was fighting other YouTubers. He fought a couple of basketball guys, some old over the hill UFC guys, and got some wins. He stepped in the ring with one legitimate fighter, and not even a great legitimate fighter, in Tommy Fury. And he lost. That's his loss. So he's going to be stepping in with Mike Tyson. Now, Mike Tyson's best days were long over. Mike Tyson's best days were behind him when he fought Evander Holyfield. His best days were behind him when he fought Lennox Lewis. He clearly was done when he fought Kevin McBride. This is plus his lifestyle now is a lot different than it was. But with all that said, and even though you got to keep in mind that a close to 60-year-old body versus somebody that's 27 like Jake Paul is, the healing factor, he gets sore. We've all seen some of the clips of him working out, and he looks great. But you never know what the clip was. Was it a true clip? Did they piece it in together? Were they showing just 30 seconds and then he, had to sit down and get oxygen? We don't know. But the one thing I do know about Mike Tyson, and, he does look like he's in good shape for a guy his age. But the one thing I know about Mike Tyson, and, the credit has to be given to Cus D'Amato, because Cus D'Amato, when he got Mike Tyson as a teenager, he instilled some fundamentals on Mike Tyson that, despite the passing of Cus D'Amato and some of the other people that got involved with Mike Tyson, we obviously never saw the same Mike Tyson after Cus D'Amato passed than what we ended up with Mike. But a couple of the early things that Cus D'Amato instilled upon Mike Tyson in terms of training and boxing ability became automatic to Mike. And the most important thing that came automatic to Mike is something that he still possesses today. And I think that that's going to be the difference in the fight. No, it's not the power. And everybody's going to say, oh, well, it's the body work, because Mike Tyson is a phenomenal, was a phenomenal body puncher. And because he was always smaller than everybody else, he seemed to have to get inside to work damage. But the tool that he developed and the knowledge and the experience that he developed in order to get in close and inflict the body attack and then come over the top and knock out opponents was his head movement. And that's something that Jake Paul has never witnessed. He hasn't seen it because nobody does it anymore. So, even though the fighters that Jake Paul has fought aren't even legit boxers, in my opinion, except for the one he lost, and that guy doesn't use his head movement. He doesn't move his head. So, considering that Jake Paul is younger, you got to assume he's strong. I mean, they're obviously not VADA testing for this fight because Jake Paul is so juiced up, he could be a glass of orange juice. But the truth of the matter is that he's not going to be able to hit Tyson. Tyson's going to, when that bell rings, this is what I think is going to happen. I think when that bell rings, Mike Tyson is going to go in for the quick attack, and that's his best chance of winning. attacking Jake Paul and stopping him early. And I think that Jake Paul is expecting him to come at him quickly, and he's going to try to use his boxing ability to keep Mike at bay. And that's where Mike's head movement is going to come in and, confuse Jake Paul to the point where he can't connect anything. And ultimately, Mike's going to catch up with him. It's all going to boil down to, can Mike still hurt him with his power? And I do believe he can. Now, my overall opinion my overall opinion of the fight itself. Well, I don't think they should have done it, but $20 million guaranteed for Mike, $30 million guaranteed for Jake is the main reason these guys are doing it. None of us are paying for it unless, you got your Netflix account. And that's it. Netflix is doing it because they want to get into the live sports, specifically boxing. And they wanted to, kick it off with a huge audience, which they're clearly going to get. But here's the way I see it. I see this fight as a lose-lose for professional boxing. Now, the best thing that could happen, in my opinion, is Mike Tyson goes in there and knocks this asshole out, okay? Because he's an asshole. And, Mike Tyson goes in there, knocks him out quick, and the integrity of the sport of boxing is saved, in my opinion. But then there's a flip to that. If Mike Tyson does that, you know damn well that these promoters of today are going to say to Mike, hey, why don't you fight Daniel Dubois? We'll give you $100 million, or fight Tyson Fury, or fight this, or fight that, okay? Which I don't want to see happen, but you probably will because of the money. Mike Tyson's looking to get the money. So that's the two bad things that could happen if it was a good result. Mike Tyson wins. Let's assume the other thing happens. Let's say Mike Tyson does not win. Let's say that Jake Paul's age and his movement and just his natural reflexes between a 30-year-old and a 60-year-old are evident, whether we want to believe it or not. I'm 63. I can't do things that I used to do 3 years ago. All right. So, I don't care how hard you're working out. Let's say Jake Paul wins. If Jake Paul wins, this is what's going to happen. Number one, people like myself and most boxing purists are going to say, Tyson was 60 years old. What do you expect? He was finished. He was finished when he fought Lennox Lewis. He was finished when he fought Holyfield. Like Coach said in the chat room, he's his best time, his best years was when he was doing time. So they're going to say that. Then the other bad thing that's going to happen is the fact that, you're going to see more of this crap. Because all these guys, listen, there's a lot of fighters out there that are in still good. Look, Oliver McCall, we'll be talking to him tomorrow when we do this fight. But, Oliver McCall is fighting the following Tuesday, and he's 59 years old. And you're going to see it. A lot of these guys that are in still good shape, mentally and physically, never made the money. And if all of a sudden, they get offered, big bucks to get in there with a YouTuber, they're going to take it. So my fear is that we're going to see more of it. My man Coach, who's in the chat room, was saying this for years now about how boxing has become WWE. Well, a lot of it is going to really become WWE if this fight goes the way a lot of people think, when you think about the sport of boxing and how it's presented now, there's a lot of WWE type stuff going on. I mean, all of the pre-fight smack talking, it just drives me crazy. It's not the smack talking. It's the fact that 99% of the smack talk is all bullshit. These guys don't even do what they say they're going to do. They're all trying to copy Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali said he talked smack, and then he lived up to it. He told somebody he's going to knock him out in a certain round, and he did. He said he was going to outbox somebody, and he did. He said he was going to knock somebody out, and he did. I mean, how many times have you heard it from these guys? Oh man, I'm going to knock him out. I'm coming to destroy him. I'm putting him out of business. His career is going to be over. And then they hug each other and they kiss each other and they dance around and we watch a boring fight that we just paid money for. And that's what I'm afraid of. That is being look, it's already here. The younger generation already accepts it. And I've talked about this on this show a lot, where they're a fan of a certain fighter and they pound their chest and brag and talk smack when their guy, because he's undefeated, just beat a guy that shouldn't even be in the ring with him, and they don't even look at that. They're just looking at the fact that their guy won the fight. It's a shame. This is my big hang up with the sport. But I got some emails. This first one's from Joel. My man Joel, he says, happy Thursday. If you had to rate the Jake Paul against Mike Tyson undercard from A to F, what would you score it? The undercard doesn't look bad, and it's being lost in the shuffle. A to F, huh? I'd have to say it's in the middle. I'd say a C. Because I like the Mario Barrios fight, although it's a layup. It should be a layup fight for him. The more I think of it, it's probably a C minus. Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, I mean, that's a really evenly matched fight. But I don't want to. I don't want to. I shouldn't even say this, but I don't want to be negative on female boxing. But when I don't know how long you guys have been watching and listening to this show, but I was involved with Chevelle Halbach, one of the greatest female fighters of all time, and together we won a couple of different world titles in two different weight classes. It was a great ride. She's actually still fighting, and she was a great fighter, and she fought. Okay. I think what has happened since the time she was in her heyday when we were working together to now, female boxing was a lot different than male boxing. They fought and they weren't afraid to fight each other. And it would be action-packed and it was exciting. Everything we wanted in men's boxing was happening in women's boxing. But now all of a sudden, not this Serrano Taylor fight, but now what I see a lot of is the same stuff, mismatched fights, and I just can't get up for it. I'll be honest with you, I can't. Look, I've gotten a call. I've had the luxury of calling a couple of Amanda Serrano fights on LDL TV, and she's the real deal. I mean, and if you look at her and Katie Taylor too, if you look at these two women, they're both attractive, and they've been in some wars, so I think it's an accolade to their defense that they have good defensive skills. Amanda doesn't get hit that much, but the concern for her in this fight is her eye. She had the trouble with the eye. The fight was canceled previously. Now all of a sudden it's healed. She had two fights with the gorgeous Heather Hardy in New York. There were wars, and she came out on top. She's got a great trainer in Mr. Maldonado. They've been together for a long time. She's a sweetheart, and she's a good fighter. I wouldn't tangle with her. Don't if you watch her if you see her at a restaurant or she's at a nightclub and she's looking like any other gorgeous woman you would see, don't mess with her because she'll kick the shit out of you is what she'll do. But as far as Katie Taylor, she's a little more I think she's a little more, what's the word I'm looking for, robotic in her approach than Amanda is. But she's a talented fighter, and they both have had a pretty good career to this point. It's a rematch. The first fight went Katie Taylor's way. Close fight, could have gone either way. So I think we're going to see a pretty competitive bout there. the more I'm talking about this, Joel, the more I'm dropping the score. You said from A to F. I'd give it a C minus. This card, the undercard. There are some interesting fights on paper. I just don't know how they're going to pan out. But thanks for the email, my man. I got another one here from my man Coach, and he says, well, before we get to that, he wanted to bring me up to speed on my man Travis Smith. Travis, the what's up kid Smith. He's won his third tournament, winning New York City's Metro title. Congratulations to my man Travis. I love this kid. I got to meet him when I was inducted into the New York State Boxing Hall of Fame, and I really, really am looking forward. Not that I'm pushing him because whatever, but I'm looking forward to this kid when he turns pro. Then it's if he turns pro, then it's going to be Billy C promoting Travis, the what's next kid, what's up kid, because I love him as a kid, as a person. He's great. So congrats, Travis. I know he was in the chat room before. I don't know if he's still in there. We got a lot of people from all over the place. We got somebody from what was it, Malaysia. We got I don't know. I'm assuming it's another Asian place because it's written in something I can't understand. But in any event, welcome everybody. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. So Coach says, I just want to reach out and get your insight on the Tyson Paul WWE WWF fight and the New World Final presser from New York. Yeah, the press conference from yesterday. It looked like Mike was annoyed. All I'm going to say about the press conference is, they're trying to really pump it up. I guess that I had gotten an email for tickets, like ticket sales and stuff. And I don't know if you guys remember, but it had to be at least a good month and a half ago. Ringside seats were selling for like, $5,000-$6,000 or something. Well, they're down to a couple $100. It's looking like maybe the live audience isn't going to be that big. But I'm not sure. I don't know. But I know a lot of people are going to be watching it. That I know. But anyway, I listen. I want to apologize for the technical difficulties I had. I was really looking forward to having Alex on, and he was on. Apparently we couldn't hear him in my studio, but you guys were hearing him, and it wasn't being recorded on the podcast version of the show. So we had to hang up on him, but I will correct that. Coach is saying it sounds a lot like the PBC. The card does, that's for sure. But look, a lot of the younger fans, they don't get it, and they're paying the money, and that's all that these bigwigs care about. Now I've heard some conflicting reports. I heard that everything starts at 8:00, but I think that's the main event starts at 8, which I like. Because I heard, at least John from LDL TV told me that the preliminary fights are starting like at 5, and that's why we decided to do the show at 4, or maybe 5:30. Yeah, that's what it is. They're starting at 5:30, the preliminary bouts. But I like it. I like that they start early. And as far as Turkey Al-Rashid with the Ring magazine, here's the thing. Everything that he's doing right now, I like. But I'm a little nervous. And when I say I'm a little nervous is because boxing follows the money, right? If you have money and it's in boxing, you know that all the fighters and all the managers are following that bouncing money, right? Well, Turkey Al-Rashid and Saudi Arabia and Riyadh season, they're throwing money at these guys. They're successful because they're making the fights that nobody else can afford to make. And, it's looking good. My fear is that some of the major players in the sport of boxing are going to grow dependent on Turkey Al-Rashid and riot season. And then if he decides that he doesn't want to do it anymore and pulls the plug, there's going to be a huge void because boxing has a tendency to just dive in. And then it would be left in chaos because you'd have these guys like Coach mentioned the PBC. If you guys remember, the PBC came on. It's free. It's free. We're gonna have the best fights, and everybody bought into it. And then all of a sudden, the PBC is garbage now. Their fighters are garbage. They're frauds. They don't fight anybody. You hardly see any of their fights anymore, and when you do, they're pay-per-views. So and we lost a lot of fans because of it. But I hope this doesn't happen with Turkey Al-Rashid and riot season. I hope that it's all positive. I know that the plan is to have Saudi Arabia be the place for boxing events. And the fighters are cool with it. They're making their money, and the worldwide stage is watching the fights. We get to watch them, through a lot of different outlets. DAZN coming to mind first, but it is what it is. So I wish them all the luck in the world. I just hope that it's not a crash landing. That's all. All right, one last time. Don't forget to tune in here tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing a official pre-fight Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul show. And we got some great guests coming on. The Atomic Bull himself, Oliver McCall, will be joining us. We'll get his thoughts. The KO King, Randall Bailey, he'll be joining us. Jimmy Adams, who's a boxing promoter, and he's got a real successful boxing series going on right now called Country Box Series. We had John and Carl King on a couple weeks ago, and I was kind of, making fun of the country music connection. But John, sat here and told us that it's very successful, and they have a lot of regular fans. So I can't wait to get Jimmy on. Aaron Snoll, who's a guy that from the World Boxing Review. You see him popping up all over the place. He's going to be joining us. The great Carl King, my main man, good friend of mine, very knowledgeable in the sport of boxing. He's been a boxing manager for just about 50 years now, and also a broadcast partner of mine. We did a lot of shows together, so it's going to be interesting to get his opinion on this. And, of course, my man John Musciunas, who's with Don King Promotions right now and is the president and CEO of LDL TV. So we'll have a good group of guys there. And I hope you guys could be there too. So make sure you tune in tomorrow right here, 4 p.m. Eastern. If you missed that, we'll be back. Oh, by the way, we won't be doing a live show on Thanksgiving. So mark that down. But we will be back next Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow and next Thursday. So make sure you tune in. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, ciao, baby.